Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. What we have today is one that I am very excited about. This is Deadman from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. I have always loved the Deadman in DC Comics. I feel like he's underutilized. I feel like most writers don't know what to do with him. So having said that, I never expected to get a figure of Deadman. Although we're talking about Todd McFarlane here, I should have known that we would, because something like this, an undead ghost figure that can possess people, is right up his alley. And this is a Target exclusive. And I'm just going to tell you right off the top that he was a pain to get my hands on. The pre-orders sold out, which I didn't really worry about that initially because it's McFarlane. It always seems like there's plenty of figures for the McFarlane line. But then when he went live, he was out of stock, then he was in stock. He was out of stock, and then he was in stock. I had email alerts set up. I would get an email alert. I would go over that. I would get an email alert that he was back in stock. I would check out the app, sold out. Did it again. On about the third time I got the alert of, hey, this is back in stock, I was able to get mine, which is why mine is a little late compared to some other people that may have been showing him off already. And I just got mine, time of recording, a few days ago. So I'm very excited that I finally got this. I was legitimately worried I wasn't going to get my hands on him, and I would have been really upset about that, because for as niche a character as I thought he was, I'm actually surprised that he's selling out as quickly as he is. I shouldn't say selling out, but is going out of stock as quickly as he is. Usually when I do a look at these figures, I put a link in the description below to take you to him if you want to get him. I'm still going to do that, but I can't guarantee he's going to be in stock when you check it out. My only advice is set up an alert, figure out when he's going to be there, and just keep trying. That's all I can tell you. I don't know why there's such a problem with him being in, then out, in, then out. But I got mine, and what we have is our standard gold label fare for McFarlane DC Multiverse. Big picture window, black banner across the bottom, gold label up here on the corner. On the side, it just says Deadman. We got the Target sticker down here, which is the only sticker Target put on it. I didn't get a big red barcode this time. On the side, Deadman, Rebirth, Multiverse up top. Up top, more window to let the light shine down through. And on the back, we have a great picture of Deadman. This is fantastic. I think this is actually right out of one of the comics. I think I've seen this image before, and I really like this. And I kind of wish he had come with the chains. He has some really cool smoke effects that we'll take a look at, or spirit effects that we'll take a look at when we get him open. But I really wish he would have come with some chains. That would have been really cool. All right. So, having said that, let us not waste any more time, because I really want to get my hands on him. Let's take a look at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Deadman. Okay, here he is, Boston Brand, the Deadman, out of his box, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he comes in at almost exactly 7 inches tall to the top of his skull. Bringing him up closer now, there's a few things that surprise me about this figure. One of the things that doesn't surprise me is how good his face portrait looks. Look at that face sculpt. I love that, with like the skin pulled tight. You can see the bones coming through on his chest. The head and the torso are a little bit off-colored, just a very little bit off-colored, but even something like that for an undead character, for a ghost, that doesn't really bother me. I love the hollowness of the eyes, the white look of the eyes. I don't know if one is supposed to look more open than the other, or if that is a paint flaw, but I actually kind of like it that way, so I'm just going to go with it was meant to be that way. But I really love the texturing, the sculpt, everything of the torso and the head. One of the things that does surprise me, though, is how stiff this collar is. Like, it's very flexible right here at the ends, so you're not going to snap anything, but it really, especially around the back, it really is much stiffer than what I was expecting. And that does hinder the articulation a little bit, and we'll take a look at that. late in a moment. But something else that really surprises me about this figure, do you see it? Do you? Look at how smooth this figure is. Of all of the figures for McFarlane Toys not to go McFarlane on it and give it some added texturing, something that we know they love to do, they've done it to other figures that haven't necessarily needed it. And I don't have a problem with the texturing. I'm just surprised they didn't do it to Boston here, to Deadman here. And I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I feel like this uniform of his, which is his circus uniform, which was basically just tights, it needed to be smooth. This is like very much a 70s look, and it needed to be smooth right down to the boots. I love the whole thing. I love the smoothness of it. I love that they didn't go in and do all the texturing to it. I really like that. It also helps to add a very stark contrast between the body, how smooth it is, and how textured and rough and gnarly looking the head sculpt and the torso is. So that's something that really surprised me, was that how smooth and featureless everything was. And I'm really glad, like I said, I'm really glad they did it for this one. I think it works. I think it's necessary. Now, let's take a look at the articulation. That the head can do a full 360 turn. It just kind of gets hung up when you try and turn it around this collar right here. Also, the collar interferes with head articulation that I feel like if the collar wasn't there, he would be able to get a better look up. Maybe if they would have made it come back a little bit more, given him more of a pocket to look up in, he wouldn't have been hindered right there. But he can really look down. He can bury the chin, look down real well. He also has some really good tilt side to side. Despite the collar, it doesn't seem to interfere with the tilt that much. Arms will do a full 360 spin. You see it got hung up on the corner there. He has butterfly joints. Okay. Arms, will come up to 90. Actually, will they go a little bit past 90? Nope, they come up to 90. He has the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows with some really good travel, and he has the swivel hinge swivel wrists that you can twist them and they'll go up and down, or you can do this, you can do that, and then they'll go in and out. Now, Boston's right here, at least on mine, is very, very loose. It's a little smooth. Like, it'll still hold position if you put his wrist up. But it is kind of loose there, looser than what I'm used to. Also, if you take a look at it, the ball joint for the wrists is very small. And I think it's because Boston doesn't have typical superhero proportions. He's not big, he's not buff. His arms aren't even that big. As a matter of fact, when we do size comparison, you'll see that he's actually very human in appearance, especially when put next to somebody like Constantine. Now, he does have the diaphragm twist or the waist cut right there. He can do a full 360. He can crank back a little, not forward so much, and there is some side to side, but he also has the joint at the waist that can go all the way around. It can really help him crank back, doubling up with that. Still going forward, not so much, and there is a little bit of further side to side rock with the waist part, with the waist piece right there. I also really like how clear and bold the D is on his stomach. Legs will come forward. Legs will come forward. Legs will go back. Legs will come up 90 to the side. Now, he does have the hip joint in here, and you can get some decent twist out of it. A lot of times it's hit or miss with the hip joint like that on the McFarlane figures. I'm glad, considering he's an acrobat, that we get at least a little bit more movement out of him. Double jointed knees with some decent travel to them. Ankles rock back. Ankles rock forward. Forward facing pin. Forward facing pin for some rocker. Ankles twist. And toe articulation. Something about the articulation that does kind of bother me a little bit is you can see right here how the arms come out to the side. That's all the tighter that they can get in. Now, normally that would really bother me with certain figures, especially human type characters, that I would want them to be able to have like arms relaxed at the side. But he's Deadman. He's a ghost. His arms being out all the time doesn't really bother me, but you can't really get like a good arm crossed pose with him because he has been known to just stand there with his arms across this over his chest. But I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but it kind of does. Like, I really, really like it when they can get their arms down to the side and they don't have this eternal arms akimbo look going on. Taking a look at accessories that he comes with, of course, Deadman comes with the figure stand with the DC logo tampoed on it. He also comes with his collector's card, which you can see is the same image that was on the back of the box. I do really think this might have been from like 52 or something. I can't remember. I remember seeing this, can't remember where it came from. And he has his bio on the back. If you want to read that, go ahead, pause and read. And something else we have here are these 3 spirit effects that he comes with. And I really like the design of these. I really like the smoke mist look of them right here. I like how they're like this translucent white, almost clear, but not quite. And I like the design of them, how they just seem to flow. They're kind of a bear to kind of get a grip on, to get a handle on how to outfit them on Deadman. Because just like with all the other McFarlane figures, there's no real clear like wrist connection. You kind of just got to twist them onto his arms. But the one that I really like is this ghost effect right here. I don't know if you'll focus in, if you can like see like that ghost image right there, that I'm not entirely certain what this is supposed to be. I'm guessing this is supposed to be like Boston, like emanating out of himself to get to whoever he is trying to possess. Because this one, it has a peg right here. And if you check out Deadman, he has a peg hole on his back right there. That, let's set this up a little bit. That you can see this fits so easily on his back and just gives that image of like, you know, the ghost coming up out of him, coming up towards you. I really, really dig that. That is really cool. That's a really neat effect. And I like how it just fits perfectly around the torso right here. And it just looks cool. Like the whole thing looks cool. The other ones do fit on the wrists, but like I said, there's no real like clear connection point. And like this one, which is really big, I feel like it should be able to go like up the elbow sort of, and it gives you that mist effect right there. And then you have the smaller one, and truthfully, this one right here, the smaller one, is the one that kind of gives me a little bit of a problem of trying to figure out how to fit it on his hand. And there we go. What do you think? I like these effects. I like that it's not like standard energy effects, that this is very much a ghost effect. And I really, really like the look of him. This has very much, for me anyway, very much like Golden Age DC Comics type thing. And now for size comparison, here he is with fellow Justice League Dark members Constantine from the McFarlane Toys Page Punchers and New 52 Etrigan the Demon from the DC Multiverse line. Here he is beside McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn and Disney Mirrorverse Maleficent. Here he is beside DC Direct Cheetah and the McFarlane Toys Collect-A-Build figure of Solomon Grundy, still my favorite of the Collect-A-Build figures. Here he is beside Jada Toys Universal Monsters Frankenstein's Monster and Marvel Legends Hand Ninja. Here he is beside Jazzwares Spartan Collections Master Chief and Noble 6. And finally, here he is beside Marvel Select Lady Death from the Thanos pack and me from the Valaverse Action Force Steel Brigade. So it's not just that I love this figure and I love that we got this figure. I appreciate that we got this figure. I never in a million years would have thought Deadman would have been on McFarlane Toys' radar, but I am so glad that he is. I'm really glad we got him. It's a very niche character, at least I thought it was. For as much as he's been going in and out of stock on Target, I may be wrong. There may be more Boston brand fans out there than I suspected, but it may also have something to do with they've been using him in the comics a lot more. He just appeared in Batman The Animated Adventures Continues, that comic. I think it was in season 2. And he was just in the crossover. I think he was in, was it Infinite Frontier? I think he was part of like that whole event where they even gave him, the powers that be even gave him the option to finally be at rest, to not continue doing what he was doing. And he said, nah, I'm going to keep being a hero, which was really cool. And getting this figure, getting Deadman, really, really makes me hope that maybe we'll start to get more of the Justice League Dark figures in there. We have Constantine, yeah, we have Etrigan, but it was like the New 52 Demon Knight Etrigan. I would love to get a more classic version of Etrigan. I would love to get the Spectre. If we have Deadman, I can almost guarantee that at some point the Spectre is going to be coming down the line, and I'm going to be all over that one. That one's going to be awesome. Actually, an Etrigan 2-pack would be pretty cool, where we get Etrigan and we get Jason Blood. That would be really cool if we could get that into a 2-pack. Another one that we could get would be the Question, and there are just so many other, like, supernatural quasi-horror characters like this that DC has in their backlogs that I would love to see come to the forefront, and I would love to see figures made of them, and Deadman here fills me with hope that we're going to get those. As far as the figure itself goes, the only real nitpicks I have with it are that you can't put the arms down to the side, and that collar does hinder head movement, especially looking up. But other than that, I think this guy is pretty great. I really like the smoothness of the costume. I really like that they didn't go for that signature McFarlane texturing on this. And like I said, I don't have a problem with the texturing, but I really don't think it would have worked on this figure, and I'm glad they thought that as well. I love that they weren't afraid to just give it that monotone red, that the only real shading he has are the boots and the inside of the collar. The face sculpt on this, I think, is fantastic. It's wicked, it's creepy. I just love the look of it, as well as the body sculpt, and I really like the misting effects that came with it. Articulation-wise, you still have some of the inherent issues with the McFarlane articulation that we've all come to know and accept at this point, that sometimes it does feel like the articulation is fighting you a little bit, especially in the legs. The legs don't flex and bend nearly as much as I would like them to, and I really do think that goes back to there being no true thigh cut or no boot cut, that you're kind of limited from the waist down, which is a shame because from the waist up, they're really starting to move very, very well. I was really excited about this figure. I was excited that I was able to get my hands on this figure. I was worried there for a minute that I wasn't, but I did get him, and I'm excited to bring him to you. And I hope if you want this guy, you can get your hands on this guy. Like I said, there's going to be a link in the description below. He's been going in and out of stock at Target. I really recommend setting some kind of alert so that you know when he's there, to give you a little bit more of a jump to get to him, to get your hands on him. So hopefully that will happen. And until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.